Hey, it's happening, everybody. What a week heading into this holiday weekend. It is a Thursday edition of Trunk Nation. It is 3 o'clock Eastern, noon Pacific, live from Vegas today on this 21st day of May. And it is good to have you on board. And if you missed anything from this program from the week, you know the deal. Go use that SiriusXM app and get caught up because it has been a tremendous week of guests. Yesterday, a double dip. Glenn Matlock of the Sex Pistols, Michael Anthony for almost an hour yesterday. It's all on the app if you missed it. Just been killing with great, iconic guests. Stuart Copeland of The Police earlier this week. And just keeps rolling because today, in minutes now, he's going to be here early, it looks like. We are going to re-welcome, because he's been on my program so many times over the decades, but it's always a great honor when he joins us. The one, the only, the legend, the icon, the Rock and Roll Hall of Famer, Alice Cooper, will be here in studio with me shortly. We're looking like 15, 20 minutes out from Alice being here, and he will sit in with us for a bit today. As you know, if you've ever heard interviews with Alice, and I'm sure you have, he is just one of the best people and nicest guys, and obviously, again, an iconic artist, and it's just always just such a trip when I get these people to come to the studio. In this case, my home studio today, because our studio at the Wynn was booked. So I got Alice Cooper coming to my house in a few minutes. I've had Geezer Butler to this place here in Vegas. I mean, it's just crazy. I could put the welcome mat at the front door in the, up for eBay. These people stepped on the mat. So it's just always awesome and so cool. Don't care how long I've been doing this. It's surreal for me to have these incredible artists come and do my show and trust me to come here and spend some time with me. And it's just great. Tonight, Alice is going to be performing his first of 3 more shows with Chris Angel here in Vegas. I'll be going to the show tonight. First time I'm seeing it. I couldn't make the previous 2 dates, sets of dates they did, but I'm happy to be able to make tonight. So I'll be able to report on that show for you tomorrow when I'm back live on the air after today's show to finish up the week and head into the 3-day holiday weekend. Yes, Memorial Weekend is here already. So I will be live. Tomorrow's a huge travel day. I'll be live with you guys, taking your calls tomorrow, free for all. And also tomorrow, a quick check-in from Richie Kotzen, and we'll premiere a brand new song from him to end the show tomorrow. So that's how we're going to close out what has been an extraordinary week. So that's what's going on. And then we'll get through the holiday weekend. Everybody take a chance to exhale a little bit. Enjoy the 3 days off. Hopefully you have. And back live with you on Tuesday, as usual, starting at 3 o'clock Eastern, right here on 103, or as usual, using the SiriusXM app to listen to full shows or interviews anytime you want. Not a lot of news today, so that's good. I think people are kind of winding down a little bit for the holiday, but it's also good because Alice is going to be here shortly. And as I mentioned, if you'd like to talk to Alice, whenever I have guests in studio, I always like to include you guys when possible in the conversation. So we should have time for that. If there's something you always wanted to ask Alice Cooper, talk to him about, 844-686-5863 is our number, as usual, to call in and speak with the legend. All right, so before Alice gets here, let's take care of some news. And this is, I talked about this a week or 2 ago. There is something happening. Well, there's always something happening here in Vegas, but there's something happening right now that is known as a licensing expo. Today is the final day of it. It's happening in Mandalay Bay, and it's an expo and a gathering where people meet and talk about licensing names, images, likenesses. You know, I talk about that all the time, ownership of names and brands and IP. That is huge, huge stuff. And there is a lot of people that are selling that stuff. People who maybe have been, people are deceased and their families or their estates inherited those rights. and after a while, they just don't want to deal with it or don't want anything to do with it, and they just sell it. Or people that maybe are the spouses of people who have passed away, or maybe in some cases haven't passed away, and they just want to find ways to exploit name and likeness for money. And a week or two ago, we talked about the fact that Sharon Osbourne and Jack Osbourne were going to attend this and look for ways to market, license, and sell the name brand of the Osbournes, both Ozzy and the family. And there was a story that I read on Blabbermouth earlier that apparently a company called Hyperreal is going to roll out basically an Ozzy avatar that is going to tour or go into places where you could ask a virtual Ozzy a question and have the virtual Ozzy answer sounding exactly like him. I'm sure this is going to incorporate, as usual, the AI technology. I don't know where you land on this. I think this is kind of weird and creepy and seems kind of soon, given that we lost Ozzy fairly recently. But it is a thing that people are doing. They are doing it. This company is already doing it with Stan Lee, the comic legend, and they also have developed a avatar of Paul McCartney, who of course is still alive, and Mike Tyson, who of course is still alive. So in those cases, it's just a way to have a replica of those people looking like them, talking like them in an avatar type situation. In a case of Ozzy, it's a way to replicate his name, likeness, and personality by using AI and an avatar. It is crazy. And look, the world we're going down here at an incredibly rapid pace with this AI stuff is, for good and bad, is unbelievable. Told you guys I watched a documentary. I finished it last night. There's a documentary. It's now on Peacock about AI. And it's real interesting. It's just called AI and How I Became an Aeotherapist or something. I don't know. Joel can look it up and tell me the exact name. But it's a feature-length documentary done by this young filmmaker who's about to have his first kid. And he's petrified about having a kid and bringing it into this world, which some people predict could be extinct in 5 years because of AI taking over and what's happening with it. Again, I don't know where you land on all that and what's real and what's not, but that's the point of it. It's called The AI Doc, or How I Became an Apocalyptimist. That's the name of the documentary. It's on Peacock. But basically what this guy does is he interviews all the people in the AI space, including some of the people who are creating the programs, or the models as they call them. And the first half of the film is people who are in that world basically saying, we're done. It's over. Human civilization will be wiped out within 5 to 10 years because of AI. The second half of the movie is people saying, no, that's nonsense. It's going to be the greatest thing. This is the greatest time to have a kid. This is the greatest time to bring new people into the world. So then the first half is pessimistic, second half optimistic, and then at the end they talk to like the creators of AI, and they basically land somewhere in the middle, but they also sound the alarm for concern. Now look, making holograms of somebody, that's the least of the worries, but still, from an ethics standpoint, it's an interesting sort of situation. So it kind of ties in a little bit with this story, so I wanted to mention that documentary again. But to no surprise, what we are seeing here is that the Osbourne family is going to very much continue to push the Ozzy branding, and in this case, potential hologram out there to continue to market his name and likeness. And that's what they met about at this licensing expo in Vegas. Make of that what you will. Where you land on that, it's all, people are going to have different opinions, no doubt. Billy Joe Armstrong of Green Day has a side project called Pinhead Gunpowder. They announced a run of dates, smaller venues than Green Day would play, of course, October 7th in Minnesota through November 11th, wrapping up in Anaheim. Not all that familiar with this band and what they do, but it's a chance to see Billy Joe in a smaller setting, no doubt. Monsters of Rock Cruise 2026, of course, wrapped up not very long ago at all, but there is a continued rollout of many, many bands already announced for the cruise for 2027, which is now on sale at monstersofrockcruise.com. We had a tremendous time with the broadcasts from the cruise. Though many of those are now being rolled out on my podcast so they can be heard worldwide for everybody to listen to. All of the shows are on the SiriusXM app for subscribers, but each week we've been putting out a day from the cruise as the podcast as well. So still very much living in the cruise from this year, but now already there is a lot coming for 2027 being announced. That cruise will sail from Los Angeles, only the second time we've done that, and the dates are locked for May 6th through 11th for MORC 2027. As is usually the case, Tesla headlines every other year, so it's their year, so they will do the honors once again. Also, KK's Priest, Winger, Sebastian Bach, LA Guns, Armored Saint, and Michael Monroe, who I love, added for the cruise. And if you know anything about the Monsters of Rock cruise, whatever's announced now, expect many more to be announced. But you can get the full lineup, information, and all of that on the website as they continue to roll out bands for 2027, sailing just under a year from now, actually. But the way time is moving, it'll be here before you know it. The original lineup of the Stray Cats will be doing a run of dates. They were supposed to go out. Brian Setzer with some health problems. They had to postpone. The dates have now been re-announced. The run will start here in Vegas on July 24th. And final date as of now is in New Jersey, very, very close to where I live in New Jersey and grew up in New Jersey, in Morristown, New Jersey, August 16th. So just shy of a month's worth of dates for the original lineup of the Stray Cats. The same three guys, Lee Rocker, Slim Jim Phantom, and Brian Setzer, going back out on the road and playing their rockabilly. Again, these bands with all original lineups, they are so far and few between. It is so rare. And Stray Cats, not one that comes up very often, and they're not active all that often, but when they are, it's one of the few bands that has all original members. And again, you find that for whatever reason, and I've not been able to put my finger on this, but it seems like trios tend to stay together longer. You know, Stray Cats, always the same three guys. Zebra, always the same three guys. ZZ Top, always the same three guys until, of course, Dusty Hill passed away. Rush, the same three guys for 50 years. It's an odd thing, right? I don't know I can't put my finger on that as to why trios seem to hold a little bit more for much longer. I just saw The Warning the other night. They're a trio, and they're all sisters, and they're very young still. So let's see how long they last with the original lineup. Hopefully for as long as some of the bands that I just talked about. And one other note from me, and I saw this scrolling through social media, and I was super excited to see this. And I don't know how many people in my audience know this band, but Degeneration, a band I absolutely love, New York City band, kind of like a hard rock punky sort of band, led by Jesse Malin. A band that has had, let's just say, a dynamic, you know that keyword, right? For a long time, meaning dysfunction, not getting along, etc. They rise up like every 12, 15 years, do some shows, and then kind of go underground again. And they are back. and they are going to play a cruise. Now, I am really, really hoping that they do some additional shows because I love this band and I used to love going to see them in the clubs in New York City so much. And I thought they were going to be huge when they first came out in the 90s. I had them on my radio shows back then. I love the first 3 records they made, but that did not happen, even though they had a lot of great opportunities. They opened for Kiss on the reunion tour. I mean, they had a lot of great chances, but they just never quite made it. But like I said, every once in a while they rise up, and they are going to be playing on Little Steven's Underground Garage cruise next year. And that cruise, from what I looked at that lineup, is decidedly more in like the punk sort of vibe in terms of what they're doing for that cruise next year. But D-Generation doing a reunion to play on that cruise. So I got to think they'll do a few additional shows. And I really hope they do because it's pretty unlikely I'll be on that cruise. But I love it. I love the band. I really hope this is a sign they're going to do some stuff again. They did put out a new record they made a few years back. I didn't like it as much as the first 3 records, but there were things on it I liked. As a matter of fact, I just listened to it again the other day. But man, if you want to hear some kick-ass raw rock, listen to the No Lunch album, listen to Through the Darkness. Those are great, punky, hard rock, ripping in-your-face albums. Love the group. So I was so happy when I saw that when I was scrolling through social media, but I just kind of laughed because I'm always on those guys like, you can never come. No, we're never going to do it. And here we are with like the 4th rising out of the ashes of D-Gen. Of course, Jesse Malin, the singer in the band, has had a successful career as a singer-songwriter. Jesse also dealing with serious health stuff. We've covered this, of course, in the last couple years. He suffered something called a spinal stroke, which has taken his ability to stand and walk away from him. Although he continues to work through it, he continues to fight through it. He continues to make advances, even though he's been told he can't, that it's not medically possible. But if you follow him online, he has been getting up a little bit. He has been walking. And he's also been doing a kind of one-man show in New York City as well. I think it's called Silver Manhattan, kind of telling his story that's done well also. So, great stuff. Hoping for more from D-Gen. All right, I'm told Alice is here. I got to go find him. So, Joel, let's go to a break and hopefully get Alice Cooper in here right after the break. Yeah, I see him coming in.
Pass. Sirius XM's Faction Talk. Now, more hard and heavy conversation.
Which is always a great thing.
On all things rock. Trunk Nation.
I'm waiting for the movie to come out.
With host Eddie Trunk.
Alice, will you pass the sugar, please? Is your coffee okay?
Yeah, the coffee's fine. No, I don't do sugar anymore. I do sweet and low or whatever they do.
I just say that because I got Alice Cooper in my house right now, hanging out. And thank you for coming by. How are you? Good to see you.
Yes, great. We're doing these, these weekends with Chris Angel.
Yeah.
And
I'm coming tonight.
You're going to love the show.
I can't wait. I missed the previous ones. Chris kept texting me when you're coming. I missed every time, but I can't wait to see it tonight.
It's the only show in Vegas where the audience never sits down.
I heard that.
Through the whole show.
I heard that.
But it's our show. I mean, it's a rock and roll show.
Yeah.
If you're in the audience, you're in the show.
Yeah.
Because it reaches out.
And that's a great size theater for that too. I've been in that theater. It's really, you're really in there. In that.
Especially in this, because you're coming into the nightmare. And when you combine the two things of Allison and Chris together, for 6 rehearsals, we did not have a show. We thought, this will just all fall together. And we didn't have a show.
Wow.
Because we had 2 shows going on.
Right.
Then we sat and videotaped it. And we all sat back, the whole cast, everybody, and went, oh, I see what's going on. So we started interacting all the parts, and bam, it was like right on the money then.
Yeah, I've had Chris on talking about it, and you've been on talking about it separately. But now that you've done, what have you done? 4, 6 of them, or something like that?
6, yeah. This will be our
So do you feel like it's the meshing of what he does and you do is really coming together?
And
now?
every night's a little bit different because we find little things to do. Now that we know the show upside down and backwards, now we can start playing with it a little bit. So we'll do things tonight that we didn't do last time, and it's just feeling comfortable with the show where I know I'm supposed to be here. I'm not going to get barbecued because fire's coming out of the floor.
Right.
And it would be funny if I did this, or it would be cool if I did that. And he's thinking the same way. Yeah. So, every once in a while, things just gel and they happen.
Yeah, one of the things when I talked to him about the show before it even happened, which he was super excited about, was the songs that he was, 'cause he's a big fan of yours and really knows the catalog deeply.
Yeah.
And songs he wanted to really get you to do, or stuff that would work, and he'd throw at you. So from a song performance standpoint, what are you doing in it that maybe you haven't done in a while that you've really adapted just for the show?
Well, first of all, we never ever did You and Me.
Which is a huge ballad.
Yeah, it was a huge ballad, but now it's a major part. Cheryl flies during it.
Cheryl's here, by the way. She didn't want to be. She wanted to be on the air, but she's here just hanging. And happy birthday, Cheryl!
That's right.
Cheryl's birthday yesterday. Yeah.
And Calico the day before that.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Your daughter is a day before your birthday.
That's right.
Wow,
that
is
almost
awesome.
a good birthday present.
Is she in the show also, Calico?
No, Callie's, with Bisto
Right.
Blanco.
Right.
And, but she's doing all kinds of crazy things right now. But the thing about it is like, when you take a theatrical show and you go, well, we're already theatrical, and then you add that to it, and I saw his show, it's rock and roll, but it hasn't got this element. When you put that together, it turns into something really magical.
Yeah. And we should tell the audience, so there's show tonight, tomorrow, Saturday.
Yeah.
And then just the other day announced 4 more, November and December.
Oh, I think we'll be doing the show with him for a while. We do our own tour. We just finished 25 cities, and we're doing this, and then we go to Europe right after this. We start in Istanbul. Doing all the festivals over in Europe, and then we come back, and then I go out with the Vampires.
Well, I want to get to all that because last time you were on the air with me was just before Christmas.
Yeah,
and at that time you were going over to Germany.
Yeah,
where you were going to be over there for like 2-3 weeks because I remember you did Christmas pudding early because you had to go to Germany.
Yeah.
And what were you doing there?
It was called the Night of the Proms. That's been going on for 30 years, something like that. And it's 5 acts that have a 90-piece orchestra, a choir, a band. I brought Nita and Tommy over there, and they sell this thing out in every single city in Germany. I've never seen a country take Christmas more seriously than Germany. I mean, every city you go into, it's got their big outdoor festival thing going on, and they take Christmas seriously there. So it sells out every arena. How many shows we do? 20, something like 20 shows. Every one, 25,000 people.
Wow.
And I did, when you're doing anything like that, I can do a song that I've never done before. Like we did Might As Well Be on Mars, which was always my favorite song that I ever wrote with Dick Wagner. Mm-hmm. But I had an orchestra, and I had a choir, and there was a good reason to do it because I'd never done it before.
Right.
And that went off crazy. Cheryl did a solo act as a puppet in front of 25,000 people in the 90-piece orchestra, and they threw it at her, maybe 3 days before the show. And so she just invented it, and it worked every night. But you were getting back to what you were saying. His song list, a song like "Cold Machines," that we had never done on stage, and it was a challenge to us to do it. We said, "Okay, we'll do that," And we did it, and now I want to put it back in the show because it really is. It's really a cool. It's a song off of Brutal Planet, and it's got that.
And you're doing the song "Brutal Planet," aren't you?
We're doing Brutal Planet
because I love that song.
Yeah.
It's such a heavy song.
Yeah.
I know Chris had told me. I was like, yeah, that one, and I was really happy about You and Me because I mean, growing up in the New York, New Jersey area, I remember hearing that on AM radio all the time.
It was a big hit.
It was this huge song.
It was almost tragic that we had 4 ballad hits in a row because they wouldn't play rock at that period. Remember, that was the great disco plague.
Yeah, yeah.
And they would, for Kiss, they would play Beth.
Yeah.
For Aerosmith, they'd only play
Dream On,
or the ballads.
Right.
And so I accidentally had 4 ballad hits in a row.
What were they? Only Women Bleed.
I had Only Women Bleed. You and Me.
You and Me.
I Never Cry.
Yeah.
And How You Gonna See Me Now?
Wow.
4 in a row.
You became a crooner.
Yeah. Yeah. And I kept saying, no. I said, the rest of the album is hard rock.
Right. Right. Well, that becomes the age-old question and dilemma. And it's funny because my audience, we get into this all the time. Like the audience wants your hardcore fans to always different songs,
Absolutely.
right? And the problem with that, especially when you're talking about an artist like yourself with a deep, extensive catalog.
30 albums, yeah.
30 albums, which is at least, 300, 400 songs.
Yeah.
And then you've got the hits, you've got Schools Out, and you've got the stuff that you got to do, 18, and you got to do Poison at this point, has to be there.
Oh,
now,
absolutely.
Right?
That's a big thing.
Yeah. So you've got 8, 10 songs that have to be there.
Yeah.
So then the rest of the set you can play with a little bit as to what you're going to do.
Well, then there's the theatrical songs that are what I call the theatrical hits.
Dwight Fry, right.
Frankenstein, Feed My Frankenstein. Those are the songs that also have to be in the show.
Right.
So I have at the end of the day, I might have 3 songs that I can go into the back catalog and find and say, okay, we've never done this. Let's try this one. Let's try this one. Yeah, and then I get all the emails I get all the time is, you never play. And I go, I can't get them all in.
Right. But that becomes, but here's the other part of it, Alice. You amazingly still make really good new music and new records. Every couple years, there's new music.
Yeah.
So you're adding to that. Like, the other day, the Stones just announced a new record.
Yeah.
And we don't know if they're going to do live shows or not, but I was like, what do you do when you're the Stones? And of course, you made a new record. You want to play a couple songs, but what's coming out?
Yeah.
McCartney's
got a new song.
Right. So what? And you're in that boat. I mean, you've got that catalog. So, I mean, but when you make new records, you don't think of that. You're just like, you're creating for the studio, and then you'll figure out what to do with it and how to place it in the set.
Detroit Stories was the #1 album. Mm-hmm. We don't do anything off that album.
Right.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Because it's just nothing fits in the thing.
Right.
I would love to at some point say, let's do $100 high heel shoes or whatever it is, $1,000 high heel shoes. I said, because nobody's expecting it. And when you do that song like that, and I look at the audience and say, what? They're doing that song. This is the greatest thing. Right. I love getting that reaction too.
Right. Among the hardcore fans, especially. The same if you do an old deep cut, you're going to get that too.
And then there's some there's one that I cannot understand forever. Everybody loves Generation Landslide. Mm-hmm. Oh man, I love that song. We do it on stage and get zero reaction. Mm. And then I get, but you never do Generation Land. I go, I can't understand it. We finish the song and it's yay. That's not enough.
Right. To keep it in the set, right? Yeah. And the other thing I'm sure you have is everybody in your band is a huge fan of your
They've got their own
music.
favorites.
So they're probably on you every show like, hey, why don't we? Or maybe they do this move where they'll like, Ace Frehley, who was a dear friend, and I know you did work with him recently, his band would during sound check play songs. They come out, what was this again? And in the effort of trying to get him to put it into the set.
Yeah. No,
So-
my band does it even better than that.
Yeah.
They catch a song and they'll do it at sound check really well. And I'll hear it and I go, oh, wow, that's really good.
Who's that?
let's try that tonight in the show.
Right.
And sometimes it works. You
Yeah.
really put it. Well, recently, I think the song that very few people even know, Dangerous Tonight, the best vampire song ever, is in the show tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And it's in our show now because we tried it once. And it was, this is great. This song is really good for a good stage song.
Yeah.
The Black Cape, and the whole thing like that. And it's a great vampire song.
Yeah, yeah.
And so it really works.
Yeah, yeah.
I would never have thought to do that song, but the band started it and they went, hey, what about this?
So the Hollywood Vampires, you have dates coming up with? You're doing stuff?
We're doing all Europe. It's all Europe. And I just got the set list, and that's 50% of that set list is all new.
Oh, wow.
So we have to go, we've done those songs before, the ones we did, and you kind of go, okay, well, let's, and then they go, no, everybody wants to do these songs. And I went, okay.
Why do the Hollywood Vampires work so much more in Europe than in America? Is there just more of an audience there?
We can't get Johnny out of London.
Johnny Depp lives in London?
He lives in London. Well, he has a house in L.A. and New York, everywhere.
I know he owns like part of the street in L.A. basically.
Yeah.
Because I had Joe Perry on
Sweetser,
it.
yeah.
Joe named his last records,
Yeah.
Sweetser Manifesto or whatever, and I
Right.
asked him why, and he goes, Johnny basically owns the block.
Yeah, he does.
I said,
Right, we did the first album there.
oh, okay.
Yeah, at his house. But no, you're right. Johnny is doing a lot of acting now. When he won the lawsuit,
Right.
all of a sudden everybody wanted Johnny back now
Right.
because he cleared his name.
Right.
And so he's directing now. He's doing movies. He's done 3 movies since I think I've seen him last. So it's hard getting him out of London. But the last time we were there, we played. He says, I'm in a 44-room castle by myself. I can't wait to get on stage. And so it was. I can see why. He said, I got to get on the road.
It's amazing how committed, and I think it's amazing that he's so committed to playing rock music because he's a guy, like, I think initially people looked at it and they're like, oh, a Hollywood actor just having some fun, goofing around with Alice Cooper and Joe Perry. He's really committed.
A serious guitar player.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah, he can play stuff acoustically that a lot of guitar players can't even start to play.
Yeah.
He's played with McCartney, he's played with the Stones, he's played with everybody. And they're shocked. One night, when Joe got sick that one night in New York, Johnny and Tommy did the whole thing, played all the leads. And people were like going, wow. I didn't know that Johnny was that versatile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's where he comes from, right? Like before acting, he was playing clubs in Florida and stuff, right?
Yeah, he had a band called The Kids.
Yeah.
And so he accidentally became an actor. It wasn't really his thing at all. He said, I'll take some acting jobs to support the band until we make it. And then all of a sudden he got really good at it, and then the band, the guitar playing took second place. It took way back in the back burner. And then when suggested, hey, what if we put a band together and do all songs from our Dead Drunk Friends? It was like, oh, that's a great idea. And honestly, we were just going to be a bar band. We were going to play just bars.
Just like unannounced gigs like Last Second.
Yeah. And just show up and play these things.
Right.
So the first show was at the Roxy. The second show was at in Rio, Rock in Rio. 300,000 people.
Small club gig.
Yeah.
Right.
And from then it just went through the roof.
Yeah. And for people that know the story of the Hollywood Vampires, but it was a drinking club that you had back in your drinking days in the Rainbow. And if you go into the Rainbow to this day, up there in that annex, you will see your names carved in there.
Oh, absolutely.
They're still there.
It was, it was all the guys that you would expect. Harry Nilsson and John Lennon, Ringo was there all the time. Of course, everybody that was a drinker was up there.
Yeah.
And we would just wait all day to see what Keith Moon was going to wear. Because one day he'd show up like the Queen of England, in full. One day he showed up as Hitler, only the Groucho Marx version. He had the mustache like this and the cigar. He committed. I mean, he should have been committed, but he also committed to every night entertaining the Hollywood vampires. He was the most fun guy ever.
Where did Johnny Depp get plugged into that band? I'm assuming he was a fan of yours and a fan of Joe's, but because obviously he's younger and was not from that.
Right. We were shooting Dark Shadows.
Okay.
And I decided, after we shot one day there, I said, hey, my band's going to go down to the 100 Club and jam tonight. You want to come along? And he goes, yeah. And he comes down, he plays, and he killed it. Just killed it. And that's when we started talking about, wouldn't it be fun to do a bar band like this? And Joe Perry goes, I'm in.
Yeah.
Duff goes, I'm in.
Duff McKagan was part of it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He played bass. And it was one of those things where everybody just fell into it,
Yeah. And here it goes. The audience would love to talk to you, and I promised we'd take some calls.
Sure.
But I got to ask you, talking about Keith Moon, who, of course, you drank with and partied, and the stories are endless as far as how...
Oh, no, as I could tell you 100 stories. Harry could tell you 100 stories. Every day was a story.
But here's my question. The other drummer that you hear from that era insane stories about is John Bonham.
Yeah.
Did you party with him?
I didn't know John.
You didn't know John, because my question to you was going to be who was crazier. But if you didn't know John, you don't have the comparison.
Pete Townsend told me that their bass player was crazier than
Entwistle?
Moon. Entwistle was crazier than Moon.
Really?
And I went, he's the quiet one.
Right.
He goes. So, but Keith's stories were so outrageous that they got all the publicity. I think Entwistle was the more quiet crazy.
Right.
But Pete Townsend said no. You see,
Keith was the guy throwing the TVs out the windows and all that stuff.
He was like, first of all, he was the best drummer I ever saw. He really was the best drummer I ever saw because he was so creative. He was a Gene Krupa type of drummer.
Right.
Right. There were two types of drummers. There's the guys that sit in the pocket.
Right.
The
Bonham.
Well, Bonham, but I'm thinking about guys, like in the Stones, Charlie Watts
right.
and Ringo and guys that
Phil
could
Rudd.
sit. Phil Rudd, Cosmo from CCR. In the pocket.
Right.
And they just sit in the pocket and it's perfect, And then there's the show drummers.
Right.
There's the Ginger Bakers and the Bonhams and the Keith Moons. And Keith Moon, I think, was the best of all of them.
Yeah.
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 But he needed Ritalin. Because every story you ever heard is true.
Yeah.
And you've only heard a tenth of it.
Did you ever throw TVs out the window?
Never. We couldn't afford that.
I was wondering what that was about.
No, we never wrecked hotel rooms, ever.
Because you get the bill.
Yeah. We honestly just could not. And there was no really reason to wreck the hotel room. We were having too much fun to be frustrated.
Yeah. Even in my younger years, I can't see the interest in doing that. I never really understood that.
I think it was the bands. Well, first of all, it wasn't Zeppelin or it wasn't the kings of all of that was the Small Faces. The Small Faces destroyed more rooms than anybody.
Is that right? I had Glenn Matlock on this show yesterday from the Sex Pistols, and he talked about his love of the Small Faces and how they had such a huge influence on the Pistols.
They did. And at the same time, they were all this big. They could have all been in Lord of the Rings. And I think that Napoleon complex that they all had, they were so small, they had to do big things. So they would destroy hotel rooms. But I remember that, the Who might have been second place and
Yeah.
Zeppelin in there. But we never did.
Yeah.
I mean, it was to us, we were happy to have hotel rooms.
Right. And to leave the hotel and not end up with a bill for thousands of dollars because you threw a TV out the window.
Right.
All right, I'm going to let these callers talk to you, but just I want to make sure anything that you want to mention and talk about as far as stuff you have coming up. I know you have a book coming.
We got a book coming up, Devil on My Shoulder.
Yes.
Yeah.
So is that your memoir?
It's a memoir, and it's told to Daniel Ricker, who did from Rush,
Getty's
book.
Okay.
And it's like me telling him. So it was as told to by. But it's a really great book. It's really, really a great book. I called it Devil on My Shoulder because we all have the devil on our shoulder whispering bad ideas. Or don't believe that. Just saying all the wrong things. And he's always there, never sleeps. Mm-hmm. The devil never sleeps.
But from there, it goes into your story from the beginning till now.
From the beginning at the end, And it's kind of an interesting thing. I'm not going to spoil any surprises, but the way that it's put together is very clever.
Okay.
Yeah.
When is it going to come out?
It comes out in October.
Okay.
And they told me, they said, if you signed a few books, it would really, really help them, that. And I said, okay, I'll sign a few. I've signed 11,000 right now. 11,000.
How's your hand still on your wrist? I'm looking at it. I'm like,
I'm watching baseball going like this.
11. So, I mean.
And it's not done. I've got probably another 5,000 or 6,000 to do.
Oh my gosh! And anything else coming up you want people to know about? Shows. I mean, you've played with even just in recent years, so many different bills. You're popping up on this festival, going out with whatever it is, Judas Priest. I mean, the packaging of it, you can play with anybody.
The packaging is brilliant. Now, I love the idea of packaging.
Yeah.
Of two bands that are both headliners going out together.
Zombie, you've done.
We did with Zombie. We did it with and the great thing about this is, and the funny thing about this is, here we got Rob Halford and myself, and you want to go on last. We traded off like this. In that, it was a summer tour. And we're all trying to go on first.
I know. I hear this from everybody, especially the artists that are getting older. They want to get out of there. Make it early.
Well, you want to get the audience when they're fresh.
Right. Well, especially these festivals that have 15 bands in a day. I talk about it all the time. Everyone's getting older.
Yeah, we don't want to go on at 1 a.m.
But from a fan perspective, Alice, I look at these festivals that come out and it's like 5 days, 52 bands a day. And I'm like, that's a horror show to me. I'm 61 years old. It's like, give me 2-3 good bands. Let me get out of here.
That's exactly it. Even 2 or 3 is a lot. Right. I mean, but you're right. And all these shows we're doing in Europe are all that. A lot of one
bands.
The other night we were with Guns N' Roses, and then the next night you're with Metallica, and then the next night you're with da da da.
Right.
And the great thing for us is it's all old friends.
Right.
So I mean, you get to see everybody and say hi to everybody. But still, you have to shorten the show. Everybody shortens their show.
Right.
You can't do the entire show. And you honestly don't want to go on at 10:30 at night.
Right.
Where it's still light in Europe.
Right. And that's the problem with the club level. You've not been at the club level forever, but that's the problem I see at the club level now with these bands, even bands like 80s bands that are touring clubs, the clubs will put 7 opening acts on, because they're making them sell tickets to play, and then the headliner, an 80s act going on at 11:30 on a Tuesday night.
Quiet Riot.
And it's like the audience is 55, 60-year-old people. They don't want to be out there. Then and then I feel bad because then those bands go on and there's 20 people left in the audience because the people who were there earlier were there because they had to buy tickets to see their kids' band play before. It's just a bad cycle. It's just like...
Yeah, it is. And another really bad cycle to me, and as much as technology is great, it has killed young bands because technology has gotten so good, it's eliminated so much that record companies don't have to support the bands. Now, in our days when we started Elton and Bowie and everything, Motley, everybody, there was a record company that was the mother company with all the money.
Right.
They could say, we're gonna give you $2 million against what you're going to sell. We believe you're going to sell this many records.
Which is recoupable.
Yeah, recoupable.
Right.
But you're living great.
Right.
The band's living in a big mansion, and you're driving great cars and everything, and you do have to pay it back. But now that does not happen.
Right.
You've got a young band, and they're trying to make it. They have to have other jobs.
Yeah.
Unless they have a sugar daddy somewhere that's, somebody's dad that's taking care of it. But I don't know how young bands survive.
And well, the labels want the groundwork all done now.
Yeah.
They don't want to do the groundwork. They want to see the analytics that you've built a certain amount already, mostly online,
Yep.
streaming numbers, what have you.
Yep.
And then they'll step in. But then they'll step in and then they'll decide they want these things called these 360 deals where we want to take your merch, we want to take your publishing, we want to take your touring. And I know bands that have done quite well. A band like a younger band, Dirty Honey, who are good friends.
Good guys.
They don't want a deal. They're fine the way things are now because they're at a point where they're getting offers.
Yes.
But the people that are talking to them, they want these they want to own everything. And
You
they're like,
can't give up the publishing.
You can't.
You can't give up the songwriting.
Yeah.
That's your retirement. I mean, if you do have hits, and that's where all the money is.
Right.
Is right there. So in the early days, we had no idea what publishing was.
Yeah.
Luckily, we had Shep,
Right.
who had an inkling that it was going to be worth a lot. you
Right.
know?
But what do you make then of all these acts that are in your age bracket that are doing these deals, taking hundreds of millions of dollars, selling their name, their likeness, their publishing, they're selling everything.
Well, if hey, if you're sitting there and you say, I'm never going to play again, or I'm just going to have fun playing, and you're sitting on $30 million, take the money.
30,
I mean, unless you're going to leave it to your kids,
and then they sell it.
and then they can do whatever they want.
Right.
But at least that's a big nest egg.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I've never had to touch it myself.
Right.
But it just keeps getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah. And last thing from me before we go to the calls, I'm curious because I just read a story before you came in here about Ozzy, and they're going to do some sort of hologram of him, and there's already one of McCartney, and it's like AI driven, and you could put a virtual Ozzy and you can ask him a question or whatever. The AI thing is
There's something so phony about it.
weird. It's weird.
And well,
I don't know how I feel
here's
about
the
it.
deal. I could right now create a rock star. I could create a young blood, a guy that's really appealing, rock, tough, cool looking. I could create a guy named, I don't care, Starboy or whatever, and make him look great.
It's a good name, by the way.
He doesn't actually.
Alice Cooper presents Starboy.
He doesn't actually exist.
Right.
I could tell the AI, I want him to sound like Tom Petty and Freddie Mercury. And here's what the album's about. Write the songs. Okay, now you've got a rock star that doesn't exist. And you've got an album that doesn't exist except in this world, right? And what happens if it sells? Who gets the money?
I know.
AI wrote the songs. This guy had nothing to do with the creativity of the songs.
Right.
So who's going to get that money? They have to write the check to the AI? That's going to happen. You watch this. You watch that happen because the guy that just suggested what it should be did not write the songs.
Right. Yeah, well, there was already that story. I think it was Warner that gave somebody who is not a musician like a $2 million deal because they had built such a following for their AI-generated content on social media.
Yeah.
And the idea was that the stuff that was being created was driven. It was a woman from her writings and poetry. So she's feeding the AI. So in her mind.
But it did come from a creative point then. But if you just tell it, if I could tell it to write a song about Eddie Trunk joining the Rolling Stones, and they would write you a great song, except for one thing. The one thing it can't do, it's never been in love. It's never had its heart broken. It's never been angry. It's never been happy. It only knows words. And and it only knows how to put words together.
Right.
But it has no emotion.
Right.
It has no heart, has no feel, has no soul to it. And that's where it dies right there.
Yeah.
That's why you could put an album out and you listen to it and go, you know that it doesn't come from any root inside, any heart, any experience. So that's where it will. When they get that, then I think, I don't know what's going to happen to music.
We are hanging with Alice Cooper today. It's an honor to have him here in the studio, as always, here on Trunk Nation. And as promised, we are going to take a few calls from the audience. I know you guys have questions for Alice. Again, Alice and Criss Angel, they're doing their Magic Meets Rock mashup tonight. The next run is tonight, tomorrow, and Saturday here in Vegas. At the Criss Angel Theater in Planet Hollywood. We've had Chris on twice talking about it. We've had Alice on a couple times, and everybody has given it rave reviews. I've had friends that have gone. I've not gone yet, but I will tonight, so I'll tell you guys about it tomorrow. Can't wait to finally see it. And again, AliceCooper.com. There's always so much going on with Alice, so you can keep an eye on. Let's do a quick break here. And then when we come back, we'll get over to the phones and we'll let you say hello to Alice.
Fast. We're talking about it.
No one has a clue, but they think we're geniuses.
Trunk Nation
Just an excuse to drink.
with Eddie Trunk.
I have to be here helping sell liquor.
All right, here we go. Some calls for Alice before we let him get on his way and get ready for his show tonight. And let's get right into it. Our first caller's in New York. It's Alan joining us on Trunk Nation. Hey, Alan, you're on with Alice Cooper. Go ahead. Alan. Did we lose Alan? Alan, you there?
I'm sorry, Eddie.
Go ahead, man.
Just freaking out that it's Alice Cooper. You're really there. Wow.
Hi, how you doing, Alan?
Yeah, he's really
Oh
here.
my God.
Speak up so we can hear you, Alan.
All right. So sorry about that. I'm just taking it off speaker.
Yes.
Alice, obviously, we all get that you got to play all the hits, which are always amazing at the shows. And I know I can speak for a lot of us, saying that we love when you hit some of those random deep tracks. Like you talked about Dangerous Tonight, Might As Well Be a Mars. I personally bugged out when you did Roses on White Lace live. Is there any chance that you would ever revisit something off the Dada record?
Wow.
Formerly Warmer, Scarlet and Sheba.
You know what song? Scarlet and Sheba was a great song off that. That was a song that Dick Wagner and I wrote. There were some really cool songs. That was near the end of my blackout period, where I don't quite remember writing, recording, or any of that. But I go back and listen to some of those songs, and I go, "Oh, that was really good." I think "Formerly Warmer" might have been the scariest song we ever wrote.
I think so.
Yeah.
Well, Alan, if you heard our conversation when the show started, and if you didn't, you can go hear it on the app. But we talked about this exactly, and thank you, Alan. We talked about this, the challenge of making a set list when you've got 30 albums and hundreds of songs, and you've got to do the hits. And Alice brought up a great point. Not only does he have a ton of hits, he's got songs not necessarily hits, but are big theatrical moments that you've got to do. Yeah. So there's really just but you have always been good about subbing stuff in and out.
I love finding tracks. Like you said, I would go into Dada, and if I heard a song, I hardly ever listen to my albums, but in the past, but I'll go, oh man, that would be great on stage. Let's try that. Yeah. So I might go listen to Dada and hear something on there that would show up.
Here's Rich, who's in Southern California. Go ahead, Rich. You're on with Alice Cooper.
Hey, guys. Wow, Alice, this is a huge, huge treat. I've been a fan since 1971 when my uncle put the needle on Caught in a Dream on Love It to Death.
Oh, we're doing that song in the show.
Tonight?
Yes, I saw
tonight,
that.
But
Actually,
okay.
I saw the show in Vegas, and it was absolutely phenomenal, so congratulations. Here's my question. Since 2015, you've had the Raise the Dead tour, Spend the Night with Alice Cooper, Paranormal Evening, Old Black Eyes, Detroit Muscle, Too Close for Comfort, and now Alice's Attic. What is your process? No other artist does that. What is your process to put these tours together that are so different, so entertaining, and so fresh year after year after doing it for all these years?
It's part of the fun for me. My wife and I are both been in show business. We just had our 50th anniversary.
Congratulations.
We have been in show business together for 50 years. The one thing that we know how to do is put a show together. And so we'll sit down and figure out what's the next way to perform these songs that gives us a theatrical, some kind of a place or some kind of a thing that we can go to and then write the songs into that situation. Alice's Attic, you come into Alice's Attic. And that could be the craziest thing ever. It's also the name of my radio show, Alice's Attic, that I keep very theatrical. So really, if I'm going to say, welcome to my nightmare, I'm not going to just say that. I'm going to give you the nightmare, because that gives me anything that happens in a nightmare. You don't have to explain it, and so anything can happen in that show. And we make sure that it does. We love the idea of rock and absurdity. Absurdity is very important. So some of the times it doesn't make any sense, and we go, well, of course not. It's absurd.
Yeah, it is fun. There is a lot of tongue in cheek. I'll never forget. You'll never remember this, but on my old TV show, I came down to we shot a segment on your stage with the props. Yeah. And you stuck a giant needle into my stomach on the show. And it was just so stupid and funny. And it was just like, we're laughing. So it's like, where it's all this be perceived as this dark nightmare stuff. There's also just a ridiculous comedic element.
Yeah, there is. I think the more absurd, because if you do it seriously and it's absurd, it's funnier.
Right.
It's funnier if you're not trying to be funny.
Right.
Chasing a giant tooth around with a giant toothbrush, but seriously doing it makes it really funny.
Right, totally. Here's David right here in Las Vegas. Go ahead, David.
Hey, Eddie. Hey, Alice. I'm really excited about this. This is awesome. Thank you for taking my call.
You're here in Vegas. Are you going this weekend?
I'm going all 3 shows, buddy. You are going to love this. This is an amazing performance. You're going to love it.
I'll see you there tonight for sure.
Absolutely. So, Alice,
and we should mention, wait, David, I'll let you continue, but just to mention again, just the other day, it's announced 4 more shows for the Alice Chris Angel show, end of November into December. 2 more weekends announced that are on sale now. So, go ahead, David.
Yeah, I got tickets for those 2. I'll be going. So anyway, Alice, you're one of my rock heroes. You're one of the guys that got me into rock and roll. And so I love you. I pray for you. I'm so thankful that I get to see you live and get to live in a time when I get to see you perform. My question is, how do you do it at your age? How do you have so much energy and so much health to where you can keep rocking and rolling? I'm only 45. I don't think I could keep up with your work schedule. So what's the secret to that longevity?
First of all, I think it's lack of stress. I have no stress in my life. I married the perfect woman. When I have the perfect manager. I get to pick all the people in my band, and I don't pick them necessarily. I pick them if they're going to be best friends. Everybody in my bands are best friends. Same with the Vampires, But the thing about it is they did this chronological thing the other day. They do a questionnaire, and they ask you all these questions about what you do in your life, and then it gives you your real life, what age you really are. I'm 37. I'm 78, but I'm 37.
Where is this survey? Where do I find
It's a survey, and I forget what it was. But it tells you.
I'm 61. It might come up that I'm 82.
Yeah,
I'm worried about it.
I mean, if you smoke and you're taking heroin,
no, I don't do any of that. No,
but I mean, it's like if you're overweight, if you have diabetes, that certainly takes you down.
Right.
I have none of those things, and maybe it's the fact that I'm happy. That I enjoy working. I love going out on the tour. I love being on stage. And it surprises me that at the end of the show tonight, I won't be breathing hard.
Mm. Well, you told me last time you were on, because I brought this question up to you, and you told me something which blew my mind, and I want to make sure I got this right. Just when you were on with me, I think it was in December, you said that, because I brought the same thing up. I said, it's incredible how prolific you are, how much you still work. Most importantly, how good you still are. Because there's people that are out there that are doing at your age, and let's be honest, they're a shell of what they once were. Yeah. Nobody goes to see Alice Cooper and says, oh my God, he sucked, he didn't sound good, he can't move, it's not a good show, you should have seen him in his day. Honestly, I'm not saying that because you're sitting across from me. Yeah. Nobody says that about you. Yeah. I hear it all the time about other people, never about you. You had said to me that you run X amount of miles a day still? I was
a distance runner in high school, and I was a miler and a 2-miler and a long distance runner. The longer the race was, the better I was. Like a 15-mile run, nobody could stay with me. You know, I think that has a lot to do with my longevity.
But do you do it now? At 78, you're still running?
Oh, 2 miles a night's no big deal.
Now?
Yeah.
Your joints and your feet and your knees don't hurt?
Nothing. I have no physical problems.
See, I started doing Pilates about 2 years ago. Yeah. I've done almost 300 classes, and it's helped me greatly. Yeah. You know, I feel better.
Sure.
I dropped weight.
You stiffen your muscles.
I'm getting some, you're never going to be bulked up, but you just feel better,
when
right?
I walked in, I was going to say, hey, skinny, what's up?
Yeah, well, it's hard. That's always been my battle, is, especially in this town with all the great restaurants. But even that, my joints and my knees, I get up, I feel better at times, but I'm like, man, so the idea of pounding and you're 78, I don't know, that's amazing to me.
I've never had an ankle or knee or hip.
And you still play a lot of golf.
I play every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you run every day and you play golf every day.
Yeah. Yeah. I think what it is the older you get, the more you want to sit and watch TV.
Don't take your foot off the pedal.
Right.
The same thing with playing and writing, right?
Exactly. You get up, and I have to, when I get up at 5 a.m, which I do.
Oh, you're an early guy.
Yeah, early guy.
Oh, man,
and
I'm not.
I get going. I'm on the tee at 6:30. I play. I come home. I take a nap in the afternoon. Yeah, but I mean, I've got Solid Rock that my charity thing, the teen centers that we do. I never stop moving. And that's what keeps you young. And I never get tired of rock and roll. I never get tired of the big power chord. I never get tired of the song if it's right on the money and everything. So I look forward to touring.
Yeah.
Cheryl and I both. We get at home, and when COVID hit, it was killing us. It was 18 months without touring. And we were going, we were shaking. We needed to get back out on the road, and we're road rats.
So at 78, do you see any period or end in sight that you want to, or how you'd like to end this, or you're just going to keep going until you're...
I've always said, if I can't play Alice the same way I played Alice in 1975, if I look different, if I gain 50 pounds, Alice is gone. I said, Alice needs to be what he looks like right now. And I look the same as I did back then.
You do?
So I'm not going, if that ever changes, that's probably the end of Alice. Because I'm not going to put a pitiful Alice in front of an audience.
And do you think you'll know it, or do you think someone will have to tell you, like Shep or Cheryl, or somebody's going to say,
Well, if I get up there and can't hit the notes, and if I'm tired and can't actually do the show, that's when you check out. Financially you don't need it, so why are you doing it?
Right.
It's the fact you do it because you love to do it.
Right, but that's exactly the problem, because there's the people that, sure, financially they don't need it, but they can't. It's a drug.
They're addicted to it.
Addicted to the. I don't know if you saw the Bon Jovi documentary, but it was, he struggled enormously vocally on the last tour, like to the point where somebody, and I love John, but somebody took a hook and pulled him off. And when he did the doc, he talked about the fact that which was much of it was about his vocal issues in that time.
Yeah.
And he said, he goes, it took my wife coming in to a dressing room at the end and said, this ain't happening. You have to stop. And he goes, that's when it hit it like a ton of bricks, that I got to shut it down.
And
now he's going to go back out and try again, and he's worked on it. But sometimes the artists themselves. She's a great
lady. She's a very great lady. His wife, I know her very well. She's that's a great marriage, by the way.
Yeah, I don't know her at all, but I'm saying that the point is sometimes you're so in it that you're almost in denial. I'm not saying that's an issue for you now, but I'm saying artists in general.
Yeah. They don't want to give it up.
Right.
It's too much fun, and you have this long history of this band. I won't name any names, but I always picture them the way they were, right? And then I meet them, and I go, what happened?
Yeah. Yeah.
All of a sudden, I'm talking to a guy that should be on a park bench somewhere,
right?
Reading the paper. But it's very hard to give up. It's an addiction. It really is an addiction. It's just hard to give up the idea of being in front of that audience, and they love your songs.
Yeah, and it's on a totally different level. It's an addiction for me too. It's the only thing I've ever really been addicted to was rock music.
Yeah.
I never, thankfully, had a drug problem, alcohol problem, nothing. But from being a kid, it was all about rock. And I have friends. Again, I'm 61. I have friends that say to me like, how do you do this stuff that you do? Like, you travel, you host shows, you go and see concerts on weeknights and this and that, and you're doing. I don't, like, if I let my foot off of that, I don't know what I would do. Like, it is.
I know.
And I believe it keeps us younger. I really do.
Too. I think you create your own world. You create your own world. You create your own habits. You create all this. And if you can get past the drugs and the alcohol and all the bad stuff, and you can find a spiritual home that you feel comfortable. The Christianity with me made a big difference in my energy because I really believe. I'm not just I'm a Christian. I believe it.
And tied in with your sobriety.
Right.
Obviously.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so I do get to help a lot of people that are into the into drugs, and because they go, if Alice Cooper can stop drinking and taking drugs, then I can. I actually believe that God allowed me to go through that in order for me to be able to talk to teenagers.
And allowed you to survive it.
Yeah. For them to say, well, what do you know about it? I used to get high with Jim Morrison. Come on, I got high with the best of them. And I know all about it. But so I'm not talking from something I don't know.
Not to condone this in any way, but who was the most fun to get drunk and high with?
John Lennon was pretty good.
John Lennon?
Harry Nilsson.
Harry Nilsson, right?
Keith Moon. The Beatles were all a lot of fun.
Is that right?
Yeah.
You never think that, right?
Yeah.
So straight-laced and, the Beatles were partiers. That's awesome. Let's go to Memphis and say hello to Andrew joining us with Alice Cooper right now. Go ahead, Andrew.
Hey, guys, hang on. I'm going to switch speakerphone. Can you hear me
There
okay?
you go. Now we can hear you better.
Ah, sweet. Man, I can't thank y'all both for doing this and taking the time to talk with us. I am here for no other reason.
Well, thank Alice. He's the one that came and made it happen and gave us his time today, so thank you.
I just wanted to fangirl out. I am literally Wayne and Garth on my knees here. We're not worthy. And, I was born 30 years too late. That was my first exposure to Alice Cooper, and I've been enjoying it so much, and I've finally gotten the chance to see. I've seen you twice in Memphis in the past few years, and I'm proud to say that all three of my boys have seen their first concert about 10 rows back at your shows, and the look on my 10-year-old's face when you took the stage and started playing the songs that he loves to hear, it was so much fun. And I just want to say thank you for everything. And the only real question I had was, do you have a chance to enjoy the places that you visit and play for? Or is it just, wake up, go to the show, play a show, and then travel to the next one? I mean, you get
unfortunately, that's the only time we ever see anything is if we have a day off. Say you're maybe in Savannah, Georgia, and you have a day off. Okay, Savannah, a great place to go run around, see what it's about. Europe, I've been to Europe 100 times, and we're getting to a point now where we get to a city, we know what restaurants, we know who's in the restaurant. We know, Cheryl and I have been there so many times that Yeah, but at the same time, you're right. There was a period when we did the Nightmare Show, we did 65 cities in 72 days. And that meant you don't know what city you're in, let alone going to see the city. You get there, hit the stage, do the show, get on the thing, get to the next city, sleep, do the show, get to the next city.
Which is why to this day, I'll come out on stages to introduce bands and I'll see taped on the monitor, you're in what city you're in.
Absolutely.
Because there's people that have come out and said, hello, Cleveland, and you're actually in Detroit or something.
My band, my crew does that to me where once in a while they give me the wrong city.
Yeah. Or you walk backstage, or you walk backstage in a hallway, which I've been many times, and you'll see taped on the wall. Yeah. Tonight we are in.
Yeah.
Because it just becomes like.
Or if you say the wrong football team.
Right.
If you're like, if you're in Alabama and you happen to say Roll Tide and you're in Auburn territory, they'll let you know.
Yeah. You got to be careful, too, if you're on the border, because I grew up going to tons of shows in New Jersey at the Meadowlands Arena, which is right across the water from Manhattan.
Sure.
But it's in New Jersey, and I'm a New Jersey guy. And so many times I'd go to shows there, even as a kid, and the artists would come out like, hey, New York City, what's up? And half the place would boo. Yeah. And they're like, why is half the people booing?
Absolutely.
We can see the Empire State Building right there. It's like, no, you're in New Jersey.
You're in Jersey.
So you have to kind of say both in that context. You have to work both sides of it.
We did that venue many times.
Yeah. It's still there. It's just not operating anymore. Yeah. People will rent it out for rehearsals and stuff, but it's still there. And to your point and to the caller's point about traveling, I remember I had Geddy Lee on the show shortly after Rush ended.
Yeah.
And of course they're coming back now. And I said to him, I said, Ged, what are you going to do in your downtime? He goes, I'm going to travel with my wife. I go, wait a minute. You just got done touring the world for 50 years with Rush and you're going to travel?
Yeah.
And he goes, no, travel like we're actually going to stay somewhere, see things, take photos, walk around. He goes, I never got to do that.
Yeah.
So people don't realize it's a different perspective when
really
you're touring.
Is, and even at that, you do have it. I know London very well. I know, there's certain places, Germany. We do a lot of shows in Germany because there are so many cities there.
Yeah.
Germany's got full of cities that are 1 million people, So we do a lot of shows in Germany. Now we're getting to know Germany very well,
Yeah.
And London, England, we've been there forever,
Here's Weston in Tennessee with Alice Cooper. Hi, Weston.
Hey, Eddie. Hey, Alice.
Hey.
I'm from Chattanooga, Tennessee. I've seen you now 8 times. I'm 27 years old. I just saw you in Albertville, Alabama.
Oh, yeah.
I was front row with that. I had your checkered golf shirt on.
Yeah. You're the only guy I've seen with that checkered golf shirt. I did see you.
That's awesome, man. My question is, what's your favorite place to golf in Tennessee?
Oh, in Tennessee, wow. There's so many good ones there. I play at one in Nashville called Troubadour, which is a discovery course. But, picking a favorite golf course, there's so many great ones, and I play every day. So just picking one would be very, very hard.
Did you play today in Vegas already?
We play up at the Summit.
I don't golf at all. I don't know anything about these courses. But
there's tons of great golf
here
courses
in Vegas. I know there is, but you played today already.
We went to the course and they were having a tournament, so we're playing tomorrow and the next day. Ryan plays.
Okay.
Ryan Roxy, and so does Chuck. So I've got 3 guys that play.
Are they good?
Yeah, Ryan can play.
Oh, wow. I've heard so many people have told me that golf is something that it's a rabbit hole, man. Like you get into it,
I tell people it's the crack of sports.
Yes,
it's like I feel sorry for you if you're just starting and you hit a good shot, because that's the addiction. Then you want to hit 10 more. You're willing to hit 10 bad shots for that one more good shot.
John in Queens, jump in here. New York City, go ahead.
Hi, Alice. It was a pleasure meeting you twice at the Children's Theater Convention in New Jersey. And my question for you is, how did you meet John Lennon? And do you have any interesting stories of him? Anything in particular that sticks out in your mind?
Well, yeah, there's a couple of great stories. we played one time in Puerto Rico. It was something de Sol, Cabo de Sol or something like that. And it was John Lennon and it was Emerson, Lake and Palmer and us way out, a big festival way out in the middle of nowhere where they'd have to take you with a military helicopter to go there. And it had a casino. So John and I, and forget who else it was, I think it was one of the guys from Emerson, Lake and Palmer, we went to the casino and they said, well, you have to have a tie on. Well, of course, we didn't have a tie. So we went back and John had the idea of, we'll take these socks and we'll tie them together and make a tie. And we did, and they let us in, which was great. The funny thing about John was the more you drank with John, the more political. He always wanted me to get more political. Oh. And I said, John, you're trying to change the world. I'm just trying to entertain them.
Right. Oh gosh, I mean, some of these stories I'm assuming are going to be in the book too.
Oh yeah.
So as mentioned, Alice has a book coming. Here's Ray in Maryland. Go ahead, Ray.
Oh wow, thanks, Eddie. I appreciate this, man. Alice, how you doing, man?
Hey, Ray, how you doing?
I'm doing great, dude. I just got to see you weekend before last at the MMRBQ thing in Camden, New Jersey.
Oh yeah,
and I've seen you. Yeah, I've seen you 3 times in the last 2.5 years, including Eddie's 40th party in Vegas and at Boardwalk Rock in Ocean City, Maryland last summer.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, dude, the one what you just did with Godsmack in Camden, New Jersey, I saw you back in the 80s. I watched this show, and I got to say, Alice, I mean, my God, you're as good, if not better now than when I saw you in the 80s. It's just amazing. And by the way, I thought Anna did an amazing job stepping in for Nita.
For Nita.
Oh, all right. She's a new guitar player. Yeah.
Yeah, she is, she is from England, and she plays in Tommy's band and Crossbone Scully. And when Nita got pregnant, she said, oh, I can play the whole time I'm there. And I went, Nita, you're going to get to a point where you're going to be very uncomfortable.
She actually did the first couple shows of the Chris Angel thing, right?
Yeah, her guitar was out to here.
Because I remember talking to Chris about it, and I go, is she playing? He goes, yeah. He goes, she's getting pretty big, but she's playing.
Yeah, so now she's pretty close to having the baby.
Yeah.
But she said, Anna is the girl to take our place. She says, Anna, until I come back. And I went, yeah. I said, you are coming back. And she can't wait. She misses this so much.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Being on tour and playing. But Anna is great. Anna got up there.
She was fantastic.
And she learned every bit of it. And she just tears it up every night.
Yeah. Shep had actually gotten in touch with me asking me for suggestions before you decided on her. We knocked around some ideas, and then he texted me, he emailed me back, and he said, "I got the guy. We got the person."
Yeah.
And then I had done an event with Tommy actually in Boston not long ago, and he told me about it too.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to seeing her.
When
play
I first heard her play, everybody when Ryan and Chuck and Tommy go, she's the one. I respect their. They're the front guitar players. And I said, yeah. And they said, yeah, she's the one.
Ray, you got a question?
Yeah, I do have a quick question and a request, if Alice doesn't mind. I know you're doing these shows with Chris, and I'll take the answer off the air, and then I'll have a little quick request that's a little different for me.
Okay.
I know you and Chris Angel are doing these shows. We all can't get to Vegas all the time, but of course we all want to see this show. Have there ever been any discussions about capturing it professionally and maybe putting it out as a Blu-ray or a stream? And my request for you, Alice, would you give my son Ryan a happy birthday shout out today, Alice Cooper style? And
Absolutely.
Thank you, Alice. Thank you, Eddie.
All right, Ryan, happy birthday.
I could do that right now.
Yeah, do
What's his name, Ryan?
I think he said Ryan.
Okay. I wrote this song in just a minute, and Ryan, you're in it. This is your birthday song. It isn't very long.
Perfect. And the other part of the question is this stuff being shot, and could this possibly come out? You do?
We shoot it every single night.
Okay.
So there will be a time when they take it and put it all together, and I can't imagine
people have a chance to see it.
Yeah.
Kyler, does he have to go or have?
We got a little bit more time. We should.
Okay, you just give me the high sign and we'll wrap it. I'm done in like 20 minutes, but you tell me when we got to go. I don't want to.
Maybe another 5 or so.
You got it. A couple more calls and we'll let Alice get out of here. Let's say hello to. Let's see here. John, who's in Illinois. He's up next with Alice Cooper. Go ahead, John.
Alice, my name's John, and I'm addicted to golf.
Oh, good man.
It sounded like an intervention or something.
It is. We should all go, hi, John.
Like when I was listening to him talk about the games. So there you go. I just wanted to say how much I appreciate you and thank you. My daughter went to a Days of the Dead convention in Rosemont, Illinois, years ago, and she comes home with a ghost that looks like you, and it's got a little cane. There's only 2 in the world. You've got one with red eyes, and she's got the one with black eyes. It's sitting on my mantle as we speak. And it is the coolest thing. When she came home and she showed me the pictures, guess who I saw today? And she shows me the picture of you and the ghost and her. I'm like, holy crap, you met Alice Cooper. And took her to see you and Zombie a few years ago out here in Illinois, too. And you were awesome with her, and I just got to say thank you ever so much. You're a heck of a guy. Love your band, love your show. You're just great, and I just really appreciate you.
Well, thank you. I try to treat everybody the same. It's to me, people say I don't want to bother you, but can I get a picture and an autograph? And I go, it would bother me if you didn't want a picture and an autograph.
That's what I say all the time. You got to worry about when people stop caring.
Yeah.
And they don't care anymore. That's when the problem comes in. Here's Victoria in Michigan. Hi, Victoria.
Hi, Alice. Hi, Eddie.
Hey, Victoria.
So just a quick question. Back during COVID times, I know, terrible, but you gave us something really cool with the Don't Give Up video. And I was just curious how all that came about, getting us involved and getting us in the video.
It had to do with, at the time, with COVID. It had to do with suicides. There was just a lot of death around, Right. And to me, it was the whole idea of just keep moving. Too many people give up, and that song it was one of those things where I just went, look, suicide is always an option, but it shouldn't be. Mm-hmm. There's always ways out, and there's a suicide prevention. There's the Bible. There's all kinds of ways to find your way out of suicide. I can't imagine what it would be like to be continuously depressed. I think I was depressed once in my life, and it was the worst feeling I ever had. And I said, I'll never do that again. Mm-hmm. I'll never get to that point. But I can imagine how, if you're clinically depressed, how horrible that must be. But there's always a way out. There's always hope out there. So that song, I did that song to make sure that here was this horrible character talking about stay alive, don't die.
It was really, really incredible when you did that. I totally remember that. It was really helped, I think, a lot of people as a way to, express
COVID
what was
making everybody go,
right.
It's the end of the world. I don't know what I should do, and a lot of confusion. And it was worldwide. It wasn't just in America or China. This was a worldwide thing, and it made you want to give up.
Yeah. I'm going to take 3 quick calls, and then I'm going to let you go. Bobby in New Jersey. Go ahead, Bobby.
Hey, Eddie and Alice. Thanks so much for taking the call.
Hey, Bobby.
Alice, I want to tell you, I'm 51 years old. The first time I was ever exposed to you was the Muppet Show. And I've been a fan ever since. I wanted to know if you could share any memories from making the Muppet Show.
It was the most fun thing ever. Because at the time, I was at my peak of being the monster of rock, and the villain of rock. And they said, you want to do the Muppets? Now, I loved the Muppet Show. And I went, I don't want to water down the character or anything like that. And I said, who did the show recently? And they said, Christopher Lee. Who else was it? Vincent Price. And I went, I'm in.
There you go.
I said, I'm in. And I had so much fun because after a week of rehearsal, you start talking to these Muppets like they're people, and you treat them like people. You know, Kermit would stick his head in the dressing room and go, do you want to go to lunch? And I go, yeah, I'll be right there. What do you want? And and Miss Piggy came on to be pretty heavy. You know.
Here's David in Cypress, Texas. Go ahead, David.
Hey, guys. I want to say thanks for taking my phone call. Y'all are both legends. And I just wanted to tell Alice I got to catch your last show in the Woodlands, Texas with Judas Priest.
Oh, yeah.
And if I could have a dream show, that was it. So I appreciate y'all coming to Woodlands with that show.
Oh, thank you. Well, Rob is one of my best friends. Rob Halford and I...
And an Arizona guy, too.
Arizona.
Yeah.
And, we have our teen centers, and he comes in and talks to the kids all the time. I don't even ask him. He just comes in and does it.
Yeah,
and he's one of the best guys out there,
Yep.
Rob Halford is. And the show is great. His band is killer. When you put those two bands together, it doesn't matter who goes on first, who goes on last, because you're going to get a double-barrel shotgun of this, you know.
Oh, yeah. And like Eddie said, y'all's voices, both bands, it killed.
Wow, thank you.
So for my question, you already answered about Nita coming back. So I'm going to go to a little older question. I heard that you had bought the O in the Hollywood sign for Groucho Marx. Do you still own that?
Yes. It was the 75th anniversary of Hollywood. The sign is falling off the hill. And
the iconic Hollywood sign.
It was just the Chamber of Commerce did not have enough money to fix it or something.
How long ago is this?
This was when 80-something, 87, 88. Was that it? Something there like that. Anyways, Groucho had just passed away. Groucho and I were best friends. He came to the show and he saw the show as vaudeville, so he would bring in Mae West and all the Jack Benny and people to see the show because it was where they lived. It was vaudeville to them. I got to know Groucho really well. He passed away, and I saw a perfect opportunity to honor him by saying, I went in and I said, well, how much is each letter? And they said, $27,000. They're 6 stories high. And I said, I'm buying the O for Groucho. So I want a brand new O up there. And after that, we did a press conference, and then so Hefner then brought the H. And then this Gene Autry bought one of them. And you know what I mean? Everybody, Spielberg bought a letter.
I didn't know this.
Yeah, and so everybody bought a letter.
And where's your O?
The O is first O in Hollywood.
But where's yours physically now?
Oh, no, they just took the whole thing apart. We took all the metal that it was, made little things, and put them in plastic so friends could have a piece of the O.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Last call, and we'll let you go. Speaking of Los Angeles, we'll wrap up with Art in L.A. Go ahead, Art. You're on with Alice Cooper. Final caller.
Hey, Eddie, Alice.
Hey.
I just want to say I'm a big fan. I've seen you live 43 times in my life.
Wow.
43 times.
43 times.
You know what, Alice, you should have, when you go to a deli or restaurant, you get the punch card.
A punch card.
Alice Cooper punch card. See, has the most punches.
We have people that have gone backstage for VIPs.
Yeah.
200 times. We finally got to a point of saying, you're not paying anymore.
After you get to a certain number of punches, you get a free T-shirt or something, or Kyler takes a picture
or
for
you. You just don't charge them to come backstage.
Right,
anymore.
there you go.
We have 2 people that are like that, and they're now the main photo.
They got the gold ticket.
On the advertisement outside the theater at Chris Angel's. It's
is that right? Kyler's saying there's 2 people who have gone to so many shows they're actually on the advertising. So.
Yes.
All right, go ahead, Art. What's the question?
My question is, were you ever considered doing "Welcome to My Nightmare"? Playing like the whole song in its entirety.
Yeah, there's people keep saying, why don't you go to Broadway and do a Broadway show? We'll write a whole new Broadway show. And I go, the show's already written. It's called Welcome to My Nightmare. And that show, the way it was that we toured with it could have fit right on any Broadway show. In fact, the director was in West Side Story. Our choreographer was from West Side Story. Everything about that show was Broadway, except that it was in a rock venues. We took it to rock venues. But I could take that show right now, put it into any theater on Broadway, and it would work.
Yeah, the other thing that just would make so much sense, here in Vegas, it's Residency Central. Yeah. Everyone's coming in here, whether it's Santana and House of Blues or whatever.
Sure.
I'm sure that's been presented to you.
And the whole idea, I love the idea when people say we're going to do this whole album, beginning to end. That's such a great idea. We've never done it.
Right.
But it's something that I would consider. Yeah, I would totally consider coming in and doing. 1 week would be Welcome to My Nightmare. The next week would be $1 Billion Babies.
Right.
Then that would be fun to do.
Listen, I can't thank you enough for coming by. It's always great to see you.
I'll see you tonight.
And I'll see you tonight. I can't wait to see the show, and I'll tell everybody. I wish I would have. It didn't work out this way with my schedule. It would have been great to have seen the show, while I was talking to you. But we'll talk again at some point.
Yeah, sure.
Again, I can't thank you enough for doing this, Alice. And everybody go see Alice and Chris Angel this weekend if you happen to be in Vegas. But don't worry if you're not. More dates were just announced, November and December. So check the schedule. And, Alice is always out there with somebody somehow doing something. And it's all good stuff. So make sure you keep an eye on it. Thank you again so much.
Thank you, Eddie.
All right, we'll be right back after this quick break to wrap it up on Trunk.
With host Eddie Trunk.
I've learned so much from that guy. You have no idea.
It's a really surreal thing to be sitting here in my condo in Vegas, looking through my window as I watch Alice Cooper walk out my front door and through into the parking area and leave my house. It's just stupid. Again, I can't thank the guy enough. It was, as you just heard, so cool. Always so great with him. Yesterday, I had Michael Anthony on, and I said, Michael and Sammy, always two of my favorite people to talk to. And you can easily add that man into that category as well. Just awesome, hanging, no agenda, no preconditions, no nothing. Just, Ed, I'll come by your house and hang with you for over an hour and shoot the shit before I have to do a show. That's the other thing, too. You know how many artists, it's like, oh, it's a show day and got to rest and I got to rest my voice and I got to do this and I've got my prep and this and that. He's about to do 3 shows in a row here in Vegas, starting tonight in a few hours. And he just hung out. He said he woke up at 6 a.m, just hung out with us on the air for over an hour. And now he's going to go, do a concert. Just like, and he's 78 years old. Come on. Crazy. And I am so lucky and grateful to be able to have these experiences and to be able to share them with you guys and to include you guys with the calls. It's just awesome. Like Alice said, he's been doing this far longer than me, but, me at 43 years never gets old, and I'm never escapes me how cool it is and how grateful I am that these people have these, this trust in me to be able to do this sort of stuff and comfort to be able to do this stuff with me, to come to my house. We would have loved to have done that at our studio at the Wynn, because we do have, of course, a great studio here in Vegas in the Wynn. And I'm sure if we did, we would have had a bunch of fans outside the glass, and we would have been able to capture all kinds of video and what have you. But Alice wanted to do audio only, and also the studio was booked. It had been booked. We tried everything to clear it, but the studio here in Vegas, unlike the studios in New York, LA, et cetera, where there's multiple studios, here in Vegas, it's just one studio. So if it's pre-booked, obviously you can't go in there. So that's why I've got the home space as the fallback. The end result of what's coming through the speakers to you guys is exactly the same. But I'm just saying, just in terms of, setting. That's why we ended up doing it here, because I couldn't get into that studio today. But either way, incredible. And like Joel and I were just saying off air during the commercial break, I mean, just ridiculous run of guests I've been able to wrangle in the last couple weeks on this show. When you look at this week alone, an original member of the Police, Stuart Copeland, an original member of the Sex Pistols yesterday, Glenn Matlock, an original member of Van Halen yesterday, Michael Anthony, and now just minutes ago wrapping up with Alice Cooper. Just absolutely awesome. Spread the word, folks. If you got people that are rock fans that are still not listening, still not on board with us, tell them what they're missing. And again, if you missed anything from any of these interviews, any of these guests, it is on the SiriusXM app. Earlier today, we put out some video clips of Michael Anthony and Glenn Matlock. More stuff to come, more full videos coming to the YouTube channel. And again, this content eventually will also show up as podcasts, so those around the world can hear it, and those that don't have SiriusXM can hear it. So we have a nice rollout on this stuff and a nice way to continue pushing it out there to people. But we always make sure you guys get it first. You get it live. You get it exclusive for a while for joining us here on SiriusXM, and we appreciate that. So much there with Alice. I wouldn't even know where to begin, but again, super, super cool to be able to do that. So we have a few minutes here. Yeah, Jason Newsted, Phil Collins, Neil Sean. Joel just reminded me Neil Sean was just on, original member of Journey. I mean, it's just been ridiculously great. So again, use the app. Missed anything, just punch in my name, Trunk Nation, Eddie Trunk, whatever, it'll all come up. And you can get caught up on all sorts of stuff. And that includes, like we were saying, early stuff as well. Like, sadly, we lost Jack Douglas about a week ago. I did have Jack on this show for a producer spotlight. That is on the app still. The interviews are archived. So if you want to hear more about, you may have read or heard about Jack, his impact, his influence, you want to hear from him himself and hearing a little bit about his career, you can always go hear that interview anytime you want. We'll try to grab a couple quick calls here at 844-686-5863. Alice is gone, so nothing for him, although you can comment on that if you'd like. And then we're going to wrap it up in a few minutes. Tomorrow, I will be live on a Friday heading into Memorial Weekend. So we'll take all of your calls tomorrow. And as always, on a free-for-all Friday, again at 844-686-5863. We also do have one guest jumping in tomorrow, just for a few minutes, not an extended interview. He's just going to say a quick hello and set up a song. And that is one of my favorites. Richie Kotzen has a brand new song coming out tomorrow called Catch a Star. We'll play the song in its entirety to end the show. We don't do that all that often, but we are going to do that tomorrow. And we will hear from Richie for a few minutes just to talk about the song and say a quick hello. And then we will play the song for you to close out the week and head into the 3-day weekend. After tomorrow's live show, you will get a best of on Monday for the holiday. It's going to be the AC/DC Top 20. And then on Tuesday, I am back live at 3 Eastern. And we'll recap the long weekend, and we'll start the week with Free For All. There's a ton of other guests, by the way, you guys, kind of hovering. I'm trying to find slots for them, trying to figure it all out and manage all that. But rest assured, we'll have a bunch of cool guests to announce as well. But like I said to Joel the other day, it's been a crazy run. I just want to get through tomorrow and get into the weekend, come back Tuesday, recap, and then, get back into doing what we do. Also, when I am back with you on Tuesday, I will have seen the full Youngblood show, which I'm going to see tomorrow at the Greek. And also, I'm going to be going to a semi-private special club thing that he's doing on Saturday in LA. So I will have maybe actually I've not met him yet. We had him on the show over Zoom, and I did not meet him the other night, but I'll at least have seen the full show. I mentioned to you guys that I did see 5 songs the other night, but I predominantly went the other night to see The Warning, who were fantastic, who were the opening act. So I'll have seen a full Youngblood show when I'm back with you on Tuesday and give you my full thoughts on all of that. So we'll get recapped on all that. But again, live tomorrow. So if you're traveling or you're home or whatever, get ready for a big free-for-all. All your calls to wrap up the week. And maybe you want to comment on some of these extraordinary guests we've had in recent weeks as well. Here's Mario in Charlotte. Mario, jump in here real quick before we have to wrap it up. Go ahead, buddy.
Eddie, thanks for taking my call. I wanted to let you know we saw Journey in their 50th anniversary tour, and Neil Schon, that show is so far over the top, live, everything is live, 20,000 people. If you haven't seen it, the technology they have is the big screens are as huge. They've got 3 cameras piping everything in. It's like the Sphere, literally. And it was an outstanding show. Pineda's great. Neil at 72 still crushes it. And if they're traveling near you, you might have heard about it, but he's always over the top. But this is probably one of the best shows I've ever seen, just to let you know.
Well, Neil was just, did you hear the interview when we had Neil on last week?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, so what happened for me, Mario, because I went to see Journey here in Vegas a couple weeks ago, but it was not a normal show. They played outside at a pool, and it was not their normal stage or their normal production. And the first thing Neil said to me was, you got to come see one of our regular shows, to your point, because it was a totally different thing than what I saw.
Yes. The technology, the screens are so big, and they're piping and all this other stuff. It's like the Sphere, but just without, you can't see it all around. Amazing show, amazing singers. Neil crushed it at 72. You might want to try and catch it. It's an amazing show. A lot of good
I definitely plan to, and thank you, Mario. And they are coming back to Vegas to do a regular show. You know, when Neil was on last week, it was to talk about those 40 additional dates they've announced. So he's totally invited me to come to anywhere I want to, a regular show, and I plan to do that. I'm not sure where. For me, 95% of the time it'll be here because it's way easier for me. But if I'm on the road, who knows? But they're I think they're playing T-Mobile or MGM Arena somewhere here in Vegas, but it's later in the tour. But I'll definitely catch a regular show. I definitely want to do that because what I saw was fine, but it was an outside semi underplay pool stage sort of deal.